everyone, struggling with tasks or confused about a concept? You are not alone. K21 Academy is here to help you. In this Q&A session, our expert trainers tackle questions from real Ansible users just like you. Stay tuned for straightforward answers and practical solutions to your toughest Ansible challenges, and don't miss the ending for a special free class. Let's get started.
Okay, so the push and pull mechanism is basically work on. Let's take an example that you have created a. Let me just show you in a more detailed manner. Okay, so let's take an example that simply you have created one EC2 instance. Okay, let's take a simple example that you have created this EC2 instance. Okay, now on this respective EC2 instance, what you want, you have installed somehow Ansible onto it. Okay, now you have installed Ansible onto it, and you have created a file. Let's take an example. You have created a file which is called SSH, or let's say some test.yaml, and under that test.yaml you have mentioned that go onto the remote servers and execute the command, let's say mkdir something, let's say /data. Okay, so you have created a file test.yaml where you have mentioned that I want to execute this command onto my remote servers. Now these are your remote servers. Okay, so if you are using any other tool apart from Ansible, so what that specific tool is initially going to do, first of all, it will check that whether the remote server exists or not. Okay, then only it is going to do the operation, which makes the things little bit slower. Whereas if we use Ansible, so Ansible is simply going to, let's say if we do have the entry of any of the respective resource into its inventory file. Okay, inventory file means the list where we need to perform the operations. So it will simply going to execute this specific script onto those remote server. It does not going to check that whether those server exist or not. If the server exists, then this file will be executed. If the server does not exist, then Ansible will try to try to execute this command as well, but this operation will be failed onto this respective server only because this server does not exist. So this is called the push mechanism in Ansible. I hope that clears your that answers your query, Nisha.
So in that case, because so if you mention, okay, 4 or 5 target servers, whatever you call here, okay, to push the things to designated servers, if number of servers are less, so will it spin off automatically? How it will not spin? I know, but how it will happen? If let's take, okay, my configuration needs 5 to 6 servers. If one of them servers are not available, so what in that case what happens?
So first of all, well, it totally depends that what sort of operation you are doing. For an example, if you are executing that, okay, on to the respective server, I need to perform this test.yaml. So it does not going to check. Let's say if you are only having the one server, so the operation is going to perform on that server as well. Because guys, Ansible maintain their entry to which it need to perform in a file which is called the inventory file. Okay, now this inventory file is responsible to track your IP addresses. Let's say if you want to perform some networking operations and you are having the IP of your routers or your network devices, so all the things are to be mentioned in this specific file, and from this specific file Ansible is going to read that what operation to perform, sorry, the operation to perform onto which respective device.
Because so Ansible, does it work on parallel mechanism?
Parallel mechanism as in, can you please more elaborate on that?
Like for example, if we want to install or update the packages in respective servers, as you said, we will be mentioning all those servers under inventory file, right? Does it goes like first, does it completes one server and then goes to other, or it
No, it will
does
do
it
the
in parallel?
it will do the operation on the basis of the task that you have mentioned. For an example, let's say there is a file you have created, let's say you have created a file abc.yaml, okay, and abc.yaml, you have defined your steps. That step 1 is to log in on server, okay. Step, generally this is the default step of Ansible, you need not to mention this. Let's say step 1 starts from creating a directory, okay, this one. Then step 2 will be something like uh, copying, let's say, file abc.txt to this specific folder, okay. And the third step is, let's say step 3 should be uh, let's say yum install something onto the server, okay, star. So all of these steps, and now in your inventory you have mentioned 1,000 servers, okay. So what will happen, the first step is going to occur onto all the 1,000 servers in one go, then go for the second step, then third step. So it will install, it will do the operations parallelly on all these servers. I hope that answers your query.
Yeah, Vikas, thank you.
So I got a question. Okay, doesn't it create the instance of that node? So Sirisha, creating an instance is something different. Yes, you can create the instance as well using Ansible, but the primary role for that Ansible is created was the configuration management. Okay, no
Sure.
two-way handshake. So yes, so yeah, there will be two-way handshake. Handshake is something different, and pull and push mechanism is something different, because in other tools pull mechanism is working because they have the agent based setup. If agent is not there, things are not going to perform, whereas Ansible is agentless setup, so it is not going to wait for any other agent to acknowledge, it is simply going to do the operations. Doesn't mean that whether the respective server is alive or not. Okay,
I have one more question.
yeah, please tell me.
You said, yes, it is able to create the server, but it is a different task. You mean it is a configuration management tool, but rather than creating the server. So I think these two tasks, like creating the servers and managing the infrastructure, is a different setup when compared to configuring after the servers are created, right? So these two tasks cannot be mixed in one particular setup. Is that right?
You can mix up the task in one particular setup, but here, Shirisha, two things are there. Let's say if you want to provision the servers, okay, you are mixing two things here. Although you can do that, but things are going to be critical for you, okay. So the first step that you are talking about is provisioning an infra, okay, and second that you are talking about is the configuration management. Now let's take an example. If you have a cloud based setup, if you have a VM based setup, yes, you can create the resources as well, you can provision the infra with this uh, Ansible. But what if your infrastructure is on premise? Because on premise is physically available with us, so we cannot provision that infra in that scenario, okay. So here we found a limitation with Ansible or any configuration management tool, okay. Whereas if we talk about the configuration management tool, it is not a cloud agnostic setup, so you can do the configuration management or either on cloud or VM or on premise. Yes, if you need to, first of all, if you need to provision the infra, then you on the same infra you want to do the configuration management. So that thing is only possible if you have a cloud based infra. You cannot do the same thing when you have the provision infra, because if infra provisioning is considered in terms of on premise, so you won't able to perform that step using step 1. You require the manual intervention, okay.
Thank you.
So the target node can be Ubuntu, Fedora, CentOS, etc. When we do the push operation in Ansible, do Ansible need to be installed on these nodes? No. So guys, first of all, please rename yourself to your original name so that I can easily, call your names. So Ansible needs to be installed on these nodes? No. The answer is completely no, because if we are installing Ansible on the remote nodes, then we are, let's say, encountering our point, which says that Ansible is a agentless setup. So there is no requirement to install agent onto the remote servers. And yes, the target nodes can be anything, whether it is Ubuntu, Fedora, CentOS, anything. But again, you need to do the configurations according to the platform on which you are going to perform the operation. Let's say if you are going to perform the operation on Windows base, then we do have some custom modules of Windows in Ansible. So we have to create the script accordingly.
Okay. Vickers, one more question. So if Ansible can provision infrastructure and also manage configuration, what's the difference between Ansible and Terra?
So I was coming to that point. Just I think Elizabeth, you have asked this question. Yeah, Nicholas, you have asked this question, correct? So guys, just wait for the right time. I'll not only, because this answer is definitely going to be asked to you. You are only asking two things. What is the difference if we can provision the infra with the Ansible? Why we can't go with then why Terraform introduced in the market? Then let me challenge your question again. We can also provision the infrastructure using scripting, any scripting. Then why Ansible introduced in the market? May I know who has asked this question?
It's Irene.
Yeah, Irene. So I just wanted to ask one question. We can also provision the infra using shell scripting, or we can do the configuration management using shell scripting or Python scripting. Then why we introduce Ansible in the market, or why we introduce the configuration management tool in the market? So just wait for some time. When we are talking about Terraform, I'll tell you that when we can introduce, we can do the configuration management task with shell scripting, then why Ansible is introduced, and when we can provision the infra using scripting or Ansible, then why Terraform or the IAC tool are introduced in the market. I'll tell you to that. I'll give you the answer on this as well. Okay.
Yeah, is it because of YAML language or?
Okay, let's take an example. I am pro to YAML language, and I mean, let's take an example. I'm the creator of YAML language. I can create whatever I want to do. Then again, my question is, then why Ansible? Then why Terraform comes into the market? Definitely, there will be some plus point with Terraform which is not available.
No, I said YAML compared to shell script and Python. Maybe it's quite human readable and understandable.
Oh, so let's take an example that I am very good with Python or shell scripting. I can do all set of operations using Python and shell scripting, but still, then why Ansible comes into the picture?
Is it because of automation and
I can do
scheduling?
the automation and scheduling with shell scripting or Python as well, or any sort of a scripting.
Because Python, it might be difficult, or YAML, it attracts large number of population. It's easy to handle. Not sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe cross-platform?
Correct. It's the core reason is the cross platform. So guys, let's take in an example. Whenever you want to handle the multi operations onto multi platforms, for an example, I want to perform the operations onto MacBook, or let's say I want to perform operations onto Debian, Fedora. I want to perform any sort of operation on Windows. So for Windows, I need to learn a separate language, which is PowerShell. Whereas for MacBook or for the Linux platform, I can do the similar set of operation with, let's say, with, I would say, shell scripting or Python. But what about if I need to automate the networking devices? I don't have any sort of a programming languages for there. So that is why Ansible or configuration management comes into the picture, because they have their own customized module, which are completely platform independent. So that is the main reason that Ansible comes into the market. Even we have shell scripting and Python available in the market. The same thing goes with Terraform as well. Guys, the primary role of Terraform is to provision the infra. Okay, whereas the primary role of Ansible is to do the configuration management. Remember one thing, there is a concept of state file management in Terraform, which is not available in any of the underlying technologies. So that is where Terraform comes into the picture. With the help of Terraform, we can create our infra, we can import the existing infras. Okay, so these are some of the basics that I'm giving you, that why shell scripting, Ansible and Terraform are separately used in the market. Okay, so I hope that guys, you are now clear that why to use shell scripting and why to use Ansible. Guys, please acknowledge once. Let's see
Yeah,
if
yeah, Vikas.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. In summary, both of them are agnostic, right? To whatever environment you want to use.
correct. Okay, we have talked about the
So, Vikas, why is the cost of Ansible high? Won't it discourage new customers?
it's not like this because I mean, it's not higher than when we compared with the Puppet and Salt. So generally the cost of Ansible is a bit high because it is managed by Red Hat, and I have seen that Red Hat generally charge for their licensing model. They charge because into Ansible uh, they introduce the cost of the licensing of the Red Hat Linux operating server as well. So that is why you can compare that this cost is a bit higher. And I frankly say that guys, in the organization there will be very hard chances for you to use an enterprise Ansible. Majorly you are going to use the open source Ansible. Okay.
So, in other words, if you're using the open source, you wouldn't incur these costs, right?
Yeah. So there will be no cost when you are using open source Ansible. Okay. Guys, this question will be definitely asked to you when I have the free version. Why I still have the enterprise? Because the enterprise is having the first mover advantage in the market, which means whatever the changes are to be done, whatever the let's say new modules are to be created, after it is created by the enterprise, then it will be launched into the open source community. Okay, so the only difference, the licensing model in open source is the first mover advantage. Apart from this, I have never encountered any other uh, reason. And next will be the support model. Okay,
Vikas,
yeah, please tell me.
in the documentation that you're writing, you said roles, right?
Mhm.
Are these roles something relating to authentication or permissions or
No,
something? Or it is
those are
related?
not so those are not related to authentication and permission. So generally, what happens, Sirisha, whenever you create a script, you don't want to use that script in a hard-coded manner. Okay, so with the help of roles, what you can do, you can use the same script multiple times to any sort of condition. So that is the beauty. Let's say if I create a script, let's say test.yaml. So test.yaml is specified to perform a specific operation for a specific user or for a specific task. Whereas whenever I create a role, so I can use the same role to multiple Ansible files to be executed, or I can use the same role to the multiple Ansible scripts. So to
Okay.
enhance the reusability, I basically use the roles in Ansible.
So it is nothing related to IAM roles kind
No,
of
no,
thing, right?
it is not related to that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, guys, any other questions?
Because
Yeah.
so are we trying to manage the control node from the managed node, or is it other way around? Should we push from the control node to managed node, or managed node to control?
It will be from the controller node to manage.
But here, did we do the other way around?
Sorry, can you please repeat?
But in here, did we try to access the control node from the managed node?
Yes, we are doing the same thing. See, if I'm
But
able
other
to,
way around. But
this
we
is,
need to do the other way around, right?
no, you have to do the operations from your control node to your manage node. And the same thing that I have done here, you can see that this is my manage, you can say this is my Ansible server, which is me, it is my control node. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
This is my test node 1, which is my manage node. Now, for the, let's say, for the testing purpose, I am just verifying that whether I'm able to log in from my control node to my manage node. Okay. You can see that I have given the username and password, and yes, I'm able to log in. So for now, what I can do, I can do a operation using
Okay.
Ansible. Okay.
Okay.
Just
So
a
it
question.
would be always from control node to manage node,
Correct.
right? Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Thank you.
So just a question, because the configuration changes that you did them on the manage node, right? The changes in terms of SSHD config file.
Mhm.
You did them on the manage node server, yeah?
It is done on the control node as well, but it is not mandatory to perform this on your control node, but it is mandatory to perform on your manage node. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, guys,
Which one? Because which one is that? Which command is needed on manage node and not on the control node?
the SSH allow root login. It is not mandatory for you to perform this operation onto the control node, but it is mandatory to perform this operation on your manage node when you are using this specific password-based authentication. Password-based authentication for Ansible. Okay. Now, guys,
Even if you did not have Ansible installed, once we allow password authentication as yes, it will still be able to we'll still be able to log in from one server to the other,
it
right?
is not related to Ansible. So, guys, it is related to the SSH. I told you that Ansible basically use the SSH protocol to connect with your managed node. So this operation we are actually not performing onto Ansible. You can see that we have not made any changes into the Ansible configuration file. The changes are done into the SSHD configuration file, and SSH protocol is responsible to let's say whenever you want to do any login onto your Linux server, you have to connect with the SSH protocol.
So what you did here is from the control node, you are trying to log into manage node with the password and with the username and the password rather than the key pair.
Correct. Even not with only this, not only related from this, you can also log in from your local system. The only logic that I have introduced here is I am trying to log in onto my Linux server using the password. So this is the logic that I have implemented here because I don't want to expose my key to everyone. I hope that answers your query now. You can see that I am now directly logging onto my manage node or onto the server on which I want to perform the operation. Okay. So you can see this is my local system. From my local system, earlier I was using a key-based approach, but now I am using the password-based approach. So this is called the password-based authentication of SSH.
Okay.
Okay.
Please, sorry to cut you short. I have a question. You said that we'll have to execute this 10 times. And I'm thinking if we have an inventory file that has listed all the servers, is it not just once you execute and it pushes out to all the other servers?
So it will be pushes to on all the servers, whatever you have mentioned into the inventory file.
So why are you now saying here, maybe I didn't get you correctly, that this is just for that if you need to run this, this ad hoc file, you have to do it 10 times?
Guys,
for instance, if we have 10 servers in our inventory.
No, I have never said that it will be done. Let's say it will be done 10 times onto 10 different server. I told you if you want to perform 10 different tasks onto the same server or onto the same inventory file, okay, then what you have to do, you have to execute 10 different commands for each and every task. Remember, executing the command on multiple server is one task, and executing multiple tasks onto either one server or multiple server means that it is having a different task associated.
So in other words, you can only perform one task at a time.
So for that, you have to create an Ansible playbook on which we are coming in some time.
Okay. So if I get you correctly, the ad hoc file can only do one task at a time. It cannot do multiple tasks.
Ad hoc is not a file. It is a single command that you are executing from your terminal.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, guys.
What state is equal to present is,
Sorry,
what does that mean?
So this this one,
The state, the command has the state is equal to present, probably.
so state equals to present means if this HTTPD is present there, then ignore that specific step, ignore this step, and if it is not present, then install this HTTPD.
Okay, thank you.
Because if you are not giving state equals to present, what it will do? First of all, it will delete the existing one and then it will install. If we give state equals to present, means if it is available there, then this specific task will be terminated. And if it is not present there, it will install the HTTPD onto the remote servers.
So if it fails by any chance installing certain thing, would it give us some kind of an error message, or it?
Yes, you will receive. Let's say if you have 10 servers, and if the operation fails on any of the server, you will get a notification of it as well.
Okay, so it would write it to the particular file and send an email, or it would print it to the console. Or
you will get the details. You will get the details on your CLI as well, like the way we are getting here. Let's say if you want to ignore those details, you can ignore them as well, and you will get all all the operations list that it is performed on which specific task, on which specific server it is getting filled. We will get all the details from on CLI only. Okay.
Thank you.
So Vikash, question. This is Ashok. Question from my side. So as of now, we built one master node, and then the manage node. Master in the sense control node one, and then manage nodes. Is that right understanding?
Correct.
Yeah. So if I want to deploy, packages for 100 machines, so that we consider as a managed node, right?
Yeah, those are considered as the managed nodes.
Managed node. So all the 100 servers, example, all the 100 servers inventory have to update in the inventory file.
Yes, you have to.
Okay. So adapt command in the sense example again, if I want to deploy any package separately for one or two servers, so again I have to update the inventory file only for the two servers and then deploy to the specific package or whatever from the control node to the managed node.
Yes. Apart from this, what you can also do, let's say if you are having 1000 hosts into your inventory file, okay, but you only want to perform the operation on one or two files. So instead of
Sorry, voice breaking.
yes,
Because
not
your
audible.
voice is very low though.
Is it fine now, guys?
Yeah, it's fine now.
Yeah.
Okay. So what I was telling you, Ashok, let's say if you want to perform operation on one or two servers out of 1000 servers, so what you can do, instead of changing your host file, what you can do, as these are one or two servers, so you just separately mention those one or two server in your command line, and you can do the operation on one or two servers.
Okay, understood. So the inventory file, instead of the specific the primary inventory file, I can update some other inventory file for specific two servers, and then I can proceed.
Even there is no requirement to update for one or two servers. Guys, remember, okay, I'm just talking in terms of when you have let's say multiple servers, and it is not, I mean, easy for you to find out those IPs into the inventory files and they need to edit. So it's better to manually give the command where you simply define the host details, where it will be the IP address, and then you can perform the operation. So in that scenario, your hosts are not going to be picked from the inventory file. Those are directly going to be picked from the command line details that you have mentioned.
Because we can mention more than one server in the ad hoc command. Can we mention more than one IP addresses in the header command?
I'm not sure about that, Manohar, because I have
Okay.
never used more than one servers. Okay, but I think yes, we can give one or two servers as well.
Okay. Otherwise, we can rename the existing host file and we can create as another host file and we can mention that as well, right? Instead of using
Yeah,
that.
or what you can do if you have, let's say, two or three servers, so simply create another inventory files. So
Yeah.
multiple approaches can be there. Either you want to give the host details into the command line without, let's say, editing the existing inventory file. Second thing, let's say if you can create a separate inventory file and you can mention that inventory file as well. So that you can also do. Okay.
Yeah, that's
Or we can use the same existing host file and add these two more. If there are 10 servers and I wanted to add two more servers, 12 servers, and then because I wanted to establish an automation, even if I run for 12 servers and I need only updates on two servers, it is not harmful, right? I do say state dash present like that, and it would safely ignore on the rest of the servers, right?
Correct. But Sirisha, one thing here that let's say if it is not only a matter of 10 servers, let's say if it is a matter of 50 servers or 100 servers. So what it can do, it can slow down your operation a bit because the primary role of Ansible works onto the push mechanism, where it is going to jump onto each and every server and check that whether the state is present or not. Because you want to perform the operation only on the two servers, then why are you going to check for rest of the servers? So in that scenario, it can somewhat slow down your operations. Okay. So that is I mean, what you can do, simply create a new file or give the CLI commands so to perform the a heavy operation.
Okay. Thank you.
Because another one question. Sorry, this is Ashok. So you mentioned like we have to update the config file in each managed node, right? So that the password authentication. So if we are deploying manually now, so we able to log into the server and update. If already available existing machines around, example again, I'm going for 100 or 50 machines. So what to do? What is the way? Is that we have to do some automation to update all the configuration file in the managed node, or is it possible to push from the Ansible server? Okay.
So Ashok, there is a when we talk about cloud, so generally what happens, because we are not in a enterprise environment right now, when we are not in a company environment, generally what company actually works, okay, how they actually works. So each and every company works on the concept of the golden image. This is not only relevant with Ansible, it is relevant with any technology. You just name the technology. Every organization works on the concept of golden image. Now, what does that golden image is actually about? First of all, your infrastructure team, your IT team, your information security team will take a server from the respective vendor, okay, and they will do a compliance check on this server. What they will do, they will do a compliance check. Let's say, okay, these are the ports which need to be allowed on the respective server as per my company standards. Okay, these are the configurations that need to be allowed as per my company standards. So they will customize this specific image. First of all, they will customize this EC2 instance. Now, they will take a input from all the teams, from the DevOps team. Hey, what are the parameters required by your end? Okay, they will ask from the testing team, they will ask from the development team. Now, after a huge effort, they create a customized image which is also called as a golden image. Now, what this golden image is, the platform is same. Let's say if you have used Ubuntu here, so they will use the platform is same. Generally, they will do what they will do, because this server is now customized, okay, they will take a clone of this server, okay, or you can say they will take a AMI of this server, and now from now onwards, guys, what will happen, this AMI will be used in your organization to launch any new server. So this is not needed by you to provide this, let's say, Ansible username and password entry every time, because for the very first time you have done this configuration. Okay, this is the first approach. Second approach, let's say there will be the scenarios where your users are getting churned into your organization. So what you can do, create a customized script which will make the do the changes according to your needs. Let's say if it is a user base authentication, if it is a LDAP authentication, so it will work according to that. Another approach, or the most frequent approach that is being used in the organization, is the LDAP integration, which means each and every organization is having their own IAM policy based server, where a user is, whenever a new user comes, he is onboarded onto that respective server, and that server is having the privileges to copy the existing server onto the rest of the remaining server. So what will happen, as our user management is now being done with the LDAP server, so there is no requirement to use the username and password. So what will happen, those users are now getting managed with the LDAP, and even your Ansible manage node and control node are part of that LDAP configuration. Okay. Third approach, I'm just talking about all the approaches, guys. Third approach, a SSH key based approach. Right now you can see that we have used some sort of a username password. Okay. Another approach can be that each and every server will have, or what they can do, they can simply you have a single most of the times, guys, you will figure out that you will have a single control node in your organization. So what they will do, they will simply copy a SSH public key of the control node to the respective managed nodes. And also, as this is created by a golden image, so definitely it will have its own it will have the existing configurations of this, and now from now onwards your server will communicate with the managed node. So these are all the parameters that we can use to communicate between Ansible to the Ansible control node with the master managed nodes. So Ashok, I hope that answers your query.
Yeah, got it. Thank you.
Because we cannot complete each and every scenario here. That is why I have just given you the best scenario, which is which can be used for a beginner to understand that how Ansible generally communicate with the respective server. But remember one thing, guys, Ansible, if you want to connect a Ansible server with a respective managed node, you have to use the SSH mechanism. Whereas if you want to communicate your Ansible with a Windows based application or Windows based server, so you have to go with the RDP approach, that is remote desktop protocol approach. Okay, so these things that you need to make sure when you are dealing with Ansible. Okay, now if you have any questions, just let me know, otherwise I'll jump on to the next part.
Yeah, thank you. So again, sorry for this dumb question. So Ansible we used to call as a configuration manager, right? So
correct.
So what exactly it's mean, the configuration manager, in the sense like now it's trying to capture all the environment configuration and keep in the Ansible server, or
No. So here you can
exactly?
see that yeah, please continue. You just finish.
No. You started. Yeah, that is my question. Why
Okay.
we are calling as a configuration manager? What we are trying to hold in Ansible server?
Okay, so here you can see that we have created two servers. Okay, first one was our controller node and second was our managed node, correct? Now, when we talk about the configuration management, okay, configuration management is nothing but how we are managing the configurations of our servers in our environment. That is considered as the configuration management. Now, there are two approaches you have. One, that you can manage the configurations, let's say any sort of operation, let's say installing a package, running a website, as well as making changes into your existing configuration, deleting a package, or what you just name any sort of the management of the server. Whatever the task that we can do with the manual approach, whenever we are automating that thing, that is considered as the configuration management. So this is the role of Ansible, to do the configuration management of the remote servers with its customized scripts or with its customized modules. Okay, I hope that answers your query now. Like the way you have seen that we have not installed HTTPD manually onto test1 instance. We have created a customized script, and with the help of that script, we have managed that server, managed the installation, managed the administration part of that respective server. Now, earlier, let's say if you are not using any configuration management tool, what are the steps that you are going to do here? Okay. So steps are like, first of all, log in on server. Okay. Authenticate with the server. You need to make sure that you have the proper authentication. Then make yourself as sudo. Okay. Then install httpd, start httpd, enable, okay, check status. So you can see that what you are actually doing, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. So in a simple logic of installing and starting a httpd, you are doing 7 tasks, okay, manually. And just think that if you have not, let's talk about not 100 servers, if you are only having 10 servers, so you are doing the repetitive task multiple times. 70 times you are doing the same task. So what we have done, we have simply do one thing where we have given just the entry of the managed nodes into our Ansible inventory file, and then we are doing the same set of operations with a single command.
Okay.
Okay, I hope now it answers your query.
Yeah. So I'm trying to compare with the Microsoft the Windows configuration manager and then this Ansible. Okay. So Windows, we used to call System Center Configuration Manager. So we'll collect all the inventory or the server or machine details as a device, and then what are the package we install, everything we'll get to know, right? So in Ansible, the same way we can fetch all the detail, because in audit time, okay, example, I'm taking on audit time, my auditor is coming and asking, like, how you guys are managing the entire environment, you know used to provide the logs, right? So how we are managing, and then what is the way, and then what is the complaint status, everything we'll pull. Is that possible in Ansible?
So right now we are guys, to handle the inventory, there are two approaches. One is the static inventory, second is the dynamic inventory. So static inventory requires the manual intervention, whereas the dynamic inventory will we need to customize our configurations in a manner that it will work as a dynamic inventory. What it will do, it will keep on checking into our environment that is there any new resources created or destroyed. On the basis of that, things are going to be changed into your inventory file. Okay, so we can do that thing as well. But related to the compliance, so even in your Windows, I forgot the name of the tool that you have mentioned, you have to create some scripts for the for making it compliance free. The same thing we can do here. We can create the respective YAML file to resolve those compliance into the Linux based laptops as well. I hope that answers the query now.
Yeah, fine. Yeah, thank you, Vikash.
Update Docker containers in Ansible. Yes, you can do. You can update and upgrade Docker containers using Ansible as well. So guys, whatever the task that you can do manually, you can achieve the same thing with the Ansible. But it is again a complete matter of practice. The more you practice, the more you will have the vision that what to automate and how to automate. Okay. Yeah, someone was asking a question here. Please tell me.
Because that inventory, is there any specific path we need to place it, or anywhere else it will be checked the playbook? Playbook we are mentioning the host, right?
So
So,
whatever
right.
the path that you are mentioning, although the default path should be the ~sign.ansible inventory, but we have mentioned that it will be under etc inventory, etc ansible host, and we have defined that thing in our configuration. Okay, if you are not defining your inventory in your configuration, the default thing that is being picked by Ansible will be /etc. Sorry, default will be this one, Ansible inventory. So this will be the default path. As we have mentioned into the configuration, so there is no requirement for us to mention this separately. Okay.
Thank you.
So actually, this module you are talking about is like another playbook, right?
You can see it's a custom module which is having, which is created with the help of some of the Ansible playbook. We are, instead of creating that complete playbook, we are simply defining a simple name copy, and in the background it is actually running the copy playbook operations.
So it's a user-defined playbook.
Yes.
Okay.
This is the default playbook of Ansible. You can also use the custom playbook. You can also define the custom modules as well.
Based on our need, right? So it is like a infrastructure deployment, something.
Yeah.
Some task. It can be combined with other tasks also, right? And create a module.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, guys, any other questions you have, just let me know.
Because I just wanted to know why it failed in other servers. Like, can you explain that?
The very first thing, we have deleted those servers. Okay.
Oh,
You can
okay.
we have deleted those servers. So because as Ansible works onto the push mechanism, it is simply going to check, okay, that whether that server is alive or not. Now those servers are not alive, so that is why it is not performing those operations, but yes, it is doing the primary function, which is pinging that server.
Okay, I got it. Yeah.
Guys, any other questions, please tell me.
So I have one question. So what happened if we just want to push to one manage if we just want to push to one manage devices? Is there a way to comment the rest out so that it doesn't check all this one, right?
Yes, you can do. You can simply mention the host detail. Okay. Means let me just show you that how you can perform that thing as well. So it should be like Ansible. Okay, let's say I'll mention Ansible playbook. Okay, -I, give the inventory detail, etc Ansible host. Okay, give the YAML inventory. Okay, and then what we need to Ansible playbook -I. We have mentioned the inventory from where it should be picked. -L, give the host detail. Let's say if I want to perform this operation only onto this. Okay, so let Ansible -playbook -I, etc Ansible host -L. Copy this. Okay, we have mentioned our host name, then just mention the playbook. So you can see here the operation is only going to perform for the single host. Although you can see that we have multiple entries into our Ansible host. See, the operation is only performed onto this defined host. I hope that answers your query now. Guys, please update.
Yeah, all good, all good.
Yeah, can we call that a Terraform file in Ansible? I think can we plug in both together? I think if you want to create a infra using Terraform, then that we can use it in Ansible, or can we need to execute separate itself?
So it is a vice versa process, Manohar. You can call your Terraform file in Ansible as well as you can call your Ansible file in Terraform. It depends that what operation you want to perform.
But it is possible.
Yes, it is possible because Ansible is a automation script. You can do
Yeah.
whatever you want.
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay, but it should have some logic with it.
Yes.
Okay, might be, let's say, if you are thinking that I should provision my infra using Ansible and then I'll execute a Terraform script, that is not a use case. That is completely, I would say, your complete efforts will be in vain.
Yeah, that is the case. Yeah.
Can you repeat that? What is that last statement?
You can
What is this?
you can use Ansible script in Terraform, as well as you can use Terraform script in Ansible. But it depends for what use case you are creating the Terraform script, or for what use case you are creating the Ansible script.
That inline Ansible playbook is like calling the Ansible playbook from the Terraform, right? I'm assuming that.
No, this Terraform file is the role of this Terraform file is create a ECS cluster, and there is a provisioner. This is called the provisioner in Terraform. Okay, provisioner in Terraform. So using the remote exe provisioner, you are into the inline. Okay, into the inline, you are running your Ansible playbook. But remember, this Ansible playbook should be available on the
Same server.
sorry, it should not be remote, it should be the local yeah, it should be the local exe, and you should have to execute the command. And here you need to make sure that this playbook is available onto your local machine, and use the command same ansible -playbook -I, give the inventory name and give the your respective playbook. This will help to complete your use case.
So this will create a image, and then I will continue with the Terraform for the deployment.
Yes.
Correct?
Yeah. Or you can create your ECS cluster with Terraform, or you will then create a Ansible playbook which will create your image, and then you can, means you have to create a loop here for with the conditions.
Meaning, see, my code is in the GitHub, so I will prepare using the Docker Compose file. I will build an image.
So do one thing, don't mix up the things. Create an Ansible playbook for building an image and all those things, and create a Terraform file for creating your ECS cluster. And in that Terraform file, mention the newly created Docker image that you have created using Ansible, and then create your ECS cluster. Your use case will be solved. Okay, go with this approach.
No, even after that, I wanted to take that image and deploy it into EKS. So that is possible with the Terraform or Ansible?
Yes, it is possible with the Terraform, because you have updated image. Again, create a Terraform file for your EKS cluster, mention the image name, and use the Terraform apply. Your EKS cluster with the respective image will be created.
Or is it possible with the Ansible also?
Yes.
But you are suggesting that Terraform is the best for doing that.
Because what if your infra got deleted, if you are not having any state management of your infra? That is why always for the infra provisioning, guys, I will suggest the infrastructure as a code tool. Majorly I use Ansible, Terraform, so I'll suggest Terraform to everyone.
Even for the deployment of the image into EKS, Terraform is, you would suggest Terraform, is it?
You will create the resource with the help of, you will create your image with the help of Ansible. Okay. And then you can, if you want to use that playbook in Ansible, in Terraform, you can use, or let's say if you want to get the latest image into your Terraform, you can also mention. You have to create two files, one for Terraform, another for Ansible. Ansible first do its work, and then Terraform will do its work by the latest updated image. Okay, this is the use case that you need to do only.
Okay.
So Vikas, I want to ask a question. Ansible, does Ansible have a state file? Does it maintain a state like Terraform?
No. Ansible
I didn't hear you.
I'm saying that Ansible don't manage the state like Terraform.
Okay. I have a question. So, so for the image, where is it pulling it from? Is it pulling it from the source, directly from the Docker, Yeah, I need clarification on how the image is being pulled, right?
Where? This one?
So the image, yeah. So for example, normally, for example, on the Docker, so we have to put the image into the Docker host, right? And from there we do any customize or any customization we want to do. So for Ansible, I noticed we have some YAML file here and we are pulling image, right? So and looking at the example you have here, so it says pull image, and I also specify the Docker. So is it pulling it from the Docker? This is like a Docker repo on the internet, right?
So it is pulling from the Docker Hub. If you want to
Docker
pull it,
Hub, okay.
if you want to pull it from the private repository, you need to mention the URL of the private repository.
Okay, so that's how it's pulling. Okay, all right, thank you. Just want to clarify that.
Yeah, Shirisha.
Relating to this Jenkins, right? Can you compare Jenkins with the Ansible, and how is that related, and what is that used for?
Ansible is a different thing, and Jenkins is a different thing. These are the DevOps tools. Although these are the DevOps tools, but they are completely different technologies. Ansible, the primary role of Ansible is the configuration management, whereas the primary role of Jenkins is to do it is a CI/CD tool. So yes, we are going to into the production, we will integrate Jenkins with Ansible. Remember, guys, when I was showing you the Jenkins part, the Jenkins part, into the shell prompt, I told you that you can even run your Ansible playbooks with that Jenkins.
Thank you so much for staying with us till the end of the video. I have something special to share. If you loved our content today, then you are absolutely going to adore what's coming next. We have a free class, and the best part is it's available for everyone. This class goes in depth into the topics we touched on today, offering you detailed insights, comprehensive explanation, and even some exclusive content that wasn't covered in this video. All you have to do is just click the link in the description below and you will be redirected to this page. Or if you are just starting out, just type K21Academy.com/DevOps02. Now, all the information inside the video that we will be covering is listed here. And for the class, click on the date, enter your name, enter your email ID, enter your phone number, and click on register now. Then you will be redirected to this page. Also, you can add this to your calendar. I promise this is something that you don't want to miss. So go ahead, click on the link and step into the world where learning knows no boundaries. Till then, keep enjoying. I'll see you in the next video.